Hello again. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what a reference angle is, and then after this, how to determine an angle that is coterminal with an angle that you provided. Okay? So first of all, for a reference angle is the acute angle formed by the terminal side of a ray, always with the x-axis. Okay? So that's a bit of a mouthful. Let me kind of explain what I'm saying. With an angle like negative 800 degrees, okay, what you're doing is, well, you kind of want to draw a sketch of this so you can see this better. Okay, so if you have an x and y, an angle of negative 800 degrees, first of all, we've got to figure out what that's going to look like, okay? Well, if it's a negative rotation, it's going clockwise. We've got to go 800 degrees clockwise. So, well, that would be 360, right? Another 360 will get us to 720, still not quite there, right? So you have the one full rotation, another full rotation to get us to 720, and then 80 more degrees to get to 800, right? We've come negative 720, another 80 degrees will get us, so about there, not quite to 90. That's what the angle looks like, right? So here is the initial side, right here, always. That is the terminal side of the ray. So a reference angle, guys, is the angle, the acute angle, that this ray makes with the x-axis, okay? So in this case, it's just the angle from here to the ray, right in there, okay? It's not the obtuse angle made with the x-axis, nor is it the acute angle made with the y-axis. It is the acute angle made with the x-axis. So in this case, our reference angle is 80 degrees. Okay, 80 degrees is the answer to that problem. All right? So it's always a good idea to sketch this. You don't have to sketch it, but it's a good idea to sketch it and then figure out the acute angle that the terminal side of the ray makes with the x-axis. For this one, 37 pi over 8. Okay? So it's now with respect to the circumference of the rotation with respect to the circumference of the circle, not just with degrees. So maybe it's easier, maybe it's harder, it depends who you are. Let's draw this one also. Okay, this is a positive rotation, so we're going to go counterclockwise. Remember that a full rotation is 2 pi, right? We're talking about the unit circle pretty much. So full rotation is 2 pi. Well, with respect to a denominator of 8, that would be 16 pi over 8 to get the full rotation, right? 16 pi over 8 is equivalent to 2 pi. So we're going to go counterclockwise. This would be 16 pi over 8. Now, 37 pi over 8, well, that's sort of like 16 pi over 8 plus, 11 pi over 8, I guess, right? No, more than that. Actually, plus 21 pi over 8, okay? This one's a little bit tricky, all right? So we've got to go 16 pi over 8, that's the full rotation, and another 21 pi over 8, okay, which is not a full rotation. Oh, actually, yes, it is, right? 21 pi over 8 is, wow, I'm kind of rushing because I know the bell's going to ring in a second. Sorry. We have 16 pi over 8 plus 16 pi over 8 plus another 5 pi over 8. That's what's going to get us to 37 pi over 8. So it's actually kind of like this one. It is 2 full rotations and then some. So that's the 16 pi over 8 to get here. Another 16 pi over 8 will get us to 32 pi over 8, which is like 4 pi. And then we've got to go 5 pi over 8 more than that. Okay? So think about it. 8 pi over 8 would be pi, right? 8 pi over 8 would be pi. We've only got to go 5 pi over 8 more. So 8 pi over 8 would bring us all the way here. If you think about that, then 4 pi over 8 would bring us to the point right here, right? 4 pi over 8 is about there. That's like pi over 2. 4 pi over 8, pi over 2, same thing. We've got to go this and then a little bit more. This one's a little bit tricky, but that's how it would look. Okay, because of my confusion, let me just say this again. We went to go 37 pi over 8 you want to first consider how many full rotations you'll have. And in here, like I was saying, in here, you have 2 full rotations. All right, every rotation is like 2 pi, 16 pi over 8, okay? So we have 16 pi over 8, one rotation, another 16 pi over 8 gets us to 32 pi over 8. We have 5 pi over 8 left to go. That's tricky to draw, but recall that 1 pi is half a rotation. So pi over 2 is a quarter of a rotation, okay? Pi over 2, or 4 pi over 8. So we came 2 full rotations, then a quarter more, and then a little more than that. Okay, that 5 pi over 8 is between a quarter and a half of the rotation. So we're just about there. Okay, now what's left here is, well, if we've come 5 pi over 8, there are 3 pi eighths left to go before you hit the 8 pi over 8, or the pi mark. Okay, this one's a little bit challenging, but the key here is that from here to here we've come 5 pi over 8. Well, a full half rotation would have been pi, which is like 8 pi over 8. So between 5 pi over 8 that we had to come to get to this point, all the way here would have been 8 pi over 8. So what's left is 3 pi over 8. Okay, so that one's a little bit challenging. All right. That is the reference angle, 3 pi over 8. Okay, you don't need to give that in degrees. If you're provided with a problem in radians, then you want to give the answer in that same measure. Okay? Now, with respect to coterminal angles, see if I have time. I have 4 minutes left. I can do this. All right. With respect to a coterminal angle, it's a little bit easier. Let's use the same examples. All you have to do in order to figure out an angle that is coterminal with this one, and usually you're asked for a coterminal angle within the interval 0 to 2 pi. So within the first rotation, which is like between 0 and 360. Okay, for negative 800 degrees, guys, a full rotation is 360 degrees. So all you have to do is keep adding, in this case, keep adding 360 until, you can use a calculator, until you get within this interval. When you add 360 to something, you end up back where you belong, at that original place. So, and that's what coterminal means. Okay, coterminal angles have the exact same terminal side. So if we keep adding 360s, if we add 360 and 360, we're not quite there because this is just 720. We got to add 360 again. And now let's see, that I believe, this is 720, so we'd be at negative 80, and then an additional 360, so 280 degrees is the answer. This angle is coterminal with negative 800. We just kept adding 360s until we got in this interval. Because again, coterminal means they end at the same place. So if you just add full rotations of 360, you'll get there eventually. For 37 pi over 8, this is much more than we within this interval. So we want to keep subtracting, not 360, but 2 pi, where 2 pi is a full rotation in this notation, okay, in this unit of measure. So we want to take away 2 pi, and take away 2 pi again. 37 pi over 8 minus 16 pi over 8 minus 16 pi over 8 once again. And we're left with, well, 37 pi over 8 minus 32 pi over 8 is 5 pi over 8. That is an angle coterminal with this one in this interval, okay? So with respect to degrees, we want to add or take away 360s until we get in this interval. With respect to pi business, we want to take away or add 2 pi, our full rotations, until we get into this interval. Okay? A little bit on coterminal angles and reference angles.